As shocking of a comeback as you will see, the Denver Broncos, all right, down 19-0 in the third quarter, down 26-8, not in the fourth quarter, with just about 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. In other words, over half the fourth quarter was gone. They were down 3 scores. Came back and won the football game, scored all 33 of their points for the football game in the fourth quarter alone to win 33-32 over the New York Giants. And what's amazing, let's start in the Giants side of this, because to me, they are the bigger story today. Listen, I know there's a lot of people in New York and New Jersey. Heck, Giants have a huge fan base all over America. Giants fans all over America, all over the world, that are just, in the last 24 hours, despondent, devastated, crushed. How do we recover from this? And I get that. I really do. If you're a fan base that has been as tortured as this one has been, where since their last Super Bowl title in the 2011 season when they knocked off Tom Brady and the Patriots for the second time, from 2012 on to now, I'm in the playoffs twice. 2016, and that was the famous Miami boat trip with Odell and Victor Cruz and Sterling Shepard. Ended up with being a disaster. Got blown out in Green Bay. It gets Aaron Rodgers the next week. And then obviously a few years ago, they made the playoffs, won a playoff game against Minnesota, and then got trounced by the eventual NFC champion Eagles the very next week. So I get it. Giants fans, you've been through it. There are no such thing in the NFL as bad wins. They don't exist. This is not college football. You're not playing for style points. This isn't about where you're ranked next week in the AP poll, the top 25 college poll. Wins and losses. That's what you're judged on in the National Football League. It's why I defended the Chiefs ardently last year. Guys, they went 15-2. I think they know what they're doing. We'll talk about the Chiefs later on the show. There are such things in the NFL, in terms of a long-term view of it, there are such thing as good losses. In the moment, and even today, Overreaction Monday, as we like to call it, doesn't feel that way. But if you're a Giants fan, think of it this way. We're down our top receiver in Malik Neighbors, and he's gone for the year. We've known that since that game against the Chargers back in week 4. Malik Neighbors is done for the year. Our offensive line, as solid as it is, but great left tackle Andrew Thomas is going against a team in the Denver Broncos that leads the sport by a mile in sacks. Nick Benito, I've said a million times, runaway defensive player of the year candidate. All right, so you had that fact on it, and you scored 32, what should have been 34 points, if not for 2 missed extra points. Get to that in a second. But what should have been 32 points against the Denver Broncos. Your rookie quarterback, Jackson Dart, and you look at the box, you're like, under 50% completion, passer rating in the 90s. Like, he was solid, but he wasn't. Folks, that was Jackson Dart's 4th start of his career. All right, the first 2, or I guess 2 of the first 3, at home. Friendly confines of MetLife Stadium. Maybe not so friendly as far as the turf is concerned, but you're on the come for a home against, with the Giants fans in the stands. Going on the road in the Mile High in Denver, especially, those fans are loud to begin with. Then you add the emotional component of, man, Demaryius Thomas, number 88, God rest his soul, got his number retired yesterday. It was a big ceremony before the game, and during the game they showed the 88 being shown in the stadium in the Ring of Honor. It was great. Kudos to the Broncos, class organization, for doing what they did for the late Demaryius Thomas. A whole emotional impact on that. And yet and still they did hold a fourth quarter lead of 18 points with 6 minutes to go. We had never seen a team blow a lead. 1,602 wins for teams that held an 18-point lead with that much time left in the fourth quarter and lose the game. So I get it. Did throw the pick. Up 10, 3 minutes to go, or about 5 minutes to go. Right? Broncos got an opportunity to get a stop. Not only do they get a stop, they get a pick. Bo Nix runs it in. It's a whole different ballgame. But I was impressed by the composure of their quarterback. Because I'm hearing a lot today, man, if that game would have went to overtime, the Giants are cooked. I don't know that. Because they blew that 18-point lead with 1 minute and 50 seconds to go. The Broncos had the lead before Will Lutz walked it off with no time left. 1:50 to go. Denver's up. Denver's up 4 points, and the Giants need a touchdown. Jackson Dart, against that crowd, against that vaunted defense, with the momentum completely flipped after he just threw a massive interception 2 drives before. Calmly goes right down the field. There was a pass interference call that was kind of bogus. I thought it was two guys fighting for the ball, especially in that situation. I don't think you throw a flag. I think it was a really bad call by the officials. Regardless, put him down at the 1 yard line. It's not his fault the backup kicker missed 2 extra points. Brian Dable was, I think, said after the game, I can't even look at you. He was flabbergasted. Not his fault that the Giants defense couldn't stop the Denver Broncos with under a minute to go, and Denver's out of timeouts. So in the here and now, devastating. Long term, you got to feel great if you're a Giants fan. Brian Burns, unblockable. Abdul Carter, bright future. Thibodeau, we know about the Giants' defensive line. Offensively, got our left tackle. For the short term, we've got our running back in Cam Scadaboo. Not sure how long of a career he's going to have. He hits everything that moves. And then this kid, Jackson Dart, played well against a Jesse Minter coach defense in the Chargers. Although the Chargers did get cooked by Indianapolis yesterday, but the Colts are on a roll, so that's a different story for later in the show. Week 2, turnovers, struggled against the Saints in the second half. It happens. Second start of your career, first road start. And then you clock Philadelphia on a short week at home against the defending Super Bowl champions, and you have an excellent Broncos team, one of the better rosters in football, on the ropes. You blow that big lead, and you go right down the field and score. That's the stuff you can, 4 starts to his career. Listen, early in most quarterbacks' career, most guys aren't Mahomes. They just come in, bam, they're awesome. It's usually a slow bake. It's a process. It's getting comfortable with your receivers. Being able to read film and be able to digest it in real time on the field at the quarterback position. So much of it, I say all the time, so much of this society can be very much microwave. Want it now? TikTok culture. A lot of times you got to put it in the oven. It takes a long time to bake. And I think when it's all said and done, once this recipe is baked, Giants fans with their quarterback, Anakin Skywalker lookalike himself, Jackson Dart, they're going to be having a lot of fun.
This is where the fun begins.
I know it doesn't feel like it now, but in the future, Giants fans, I think you've got your guy. As for Denver, man, this Broncos offense is Jekyll and Hyde. For stretches of this game, I don't know if I tweeted, I know I was texting people throughout. This Broncos offense can at times be truly unwatchable. We saw it last week in London against the Jets. Scored 13 points. They were awful. Through big stretch of this game, couldn't convert on third down. Bo Nix is missing wide open. Receivers, be it Marvin Mims, Cortland Sutton down the field, missing them wide open. His deep ball has got to get better. But similar to Philadelphia, right? Gave the Eagles their first loss of the season a couple of weeks ago. On the road in Philly, down 14 points. Something switched. Something flipped. In the case of, in the case of Bo Nix, we could show you his numbers in the fourth quarter against the Giants. He was awesome. 4 total touchdowns just in the fourth quarter alone. 4 total touchdowns, no interceptions, 76% completion, 218 total yards in a quarter, by the way. Once again, 117.6 rating, 33 fourth quarter points, which is second most in NFL history for a fourth quarter. And of course, he led the game-winning drive and the go-ahead drive before that. Using his legs, making big-time throws down the field. Listen, there was a lot of expectation for this Denver team come this season. Man, not only could they potentially, push the Chiefs for that AFC West title, could they be Super Bowl contenders in the AFC? The Super Bowl contenders thing I thought was a bit premature. Frankly, I thought them challenging the Chiefs for the AFC West was also a bit premature. I think the Chiefs are going to end up running away with the division the way that they're playing right now. I know Broncos are in first. Chiefs are playing unbelievable football. We'll talk about them later. But the roster is excellent. They have, to me, Philadelphia last year had the best offensive line and defensive line combo. This year it's Denver. You talk about guys like McGlinchey on that O-line, unbelievable. Garrett Bowles, and then on the defensive line, it's Benito and Zach Allen. They got some dogs on both sides of the ball to the Denver Broncos. And forgetting the back end of their secondary, you're talking about guys like Pat Surtain, best corner in football as far as I'm concerned. This Denver, listen, in terms of weapons, they're not great, but they do run the football well with J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey. It's just a matter of them putting it together. It's a matter of Sean Payton, who's as experienced a coach there as in the NFL, and I love Sean Payton, but the situation, third quarter, it's, the Giants are well within their own territory. They get stopped short. It's 4th and 4 in their own territory. There's a penalty on the Giants. Sean Payton elects to take the penalty, and Giants get a 3rd and long, and they end up converting, as opposed to they obviously would have been punting on that 4th and short. So some of these game-managing situations that you think Sean Payton would have figured out by now, I guess not, at least in that situation. But if you're a Broncos fan, hey, win's a win. We survived. Maybe the Broncos offense found something. Maybe it's more Bo Nix using his legs, which he's always been a better athlete than people think, but using his legs more. The deep ball's just not working with Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims. I wouldn't be shocked if the Denver Broncos have the same aspirations that my Steelers do, and that's going out and getting a number 2 receiver at the deadline a couple of weeks. That's very much on the board, but it's a very good Denver team. This is a very talented Broncos team, so excellent stuff. Just an unbelievable game. Unbelievable game we saw yesterday. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.